Na hii ni Sabah Show.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Karibu katika Sabah Show. Nikiwa kwa niaba ya Muhammad Obura, jina langu ni Ibtisam Jamal, tukipeperusha katikati mwa jiji la Nairobi katika msikiti wa Jamia, ikiwa ni tarehe 17 ya mwezi Muharram mwaka 1441 sawia na tarehe 16 ya mwezi Septemba mwaka 2019. Katika awamu yetu ya kwanza tutaweza kuchambua magazeti. Katika awamu yetu ya pili ya Active Jumatatu tutakuwa na vijana ambao wanaweza kufanya mabadiliko katika jamii. Kabla hatujaenda mbali, uchambuzi wa magazeti huu utaweza kufanikishwa na Yusuf Swaleh. Karibu sana, ni wakili. Karibu sana katika Horizon na Sabah Show. Kigen, si mgeni, karibu sana. Sikupi chai, najua si mgeni. Tukiangalia gazeti zetu leo ni kwamba The Star and Daily Nation, it has almost a similar stories. It says here, Cohen gives sister Kenya shilling 400 million villa in will. That's one story. And then Daily Nation has an extensive story. Says inside web of lies that led police to Cohen's body. We can see here that technology was used and the culprit was found, and the body was found of the dead Cohen. Tukianza na wakili. Yes. We've seen so many things unravel in the past few months. First he was missing, and then now the body was found. Now the family wants justice. The wife is in custody. It's mixed up.
No.
Yes, explain it to us in simple language.
In the past months, or rather, we've been treated to rather a very grotesque situation whereby murder is on the line. It is very unfortunate that we've come to that. But I believe in the course of time, and since the matter is already in court, I believe they'll be going back to court. The matter is slated today. We'll be able to know more about the case.
Okay. Kigen, tumeona, we've seen so many things happening even in social media now. People are saying do not marry certain people. Yeah, social media has gone crazy that foreigners should not marry people from certain community in Kenya. Social media is banning in this story. It's now taking a different angle.
Such cases of disappearance, it takes even up to 5 years, even 10 years to in some cases. And this is some good news. And it has unraveled that the police, you know, they were tracking some phone signals of different people. Even Peter Karanja, who is the former husband to the Gilgil MP, where they also tracked his phone, and that's why he's a suspect. And technology played a big role. And also there were, I don't know whether I should call them rumors or just word going around that there was also intervention by the Dutch police. That's why we were able to get, you know, such quick results. And again, the thing here is we also want to see the same kind of resources and the same kind of attention that was given to this case to also other Kenyan cases, you know, because people deserve to know, relatives deserve to know where their people went to. And I think for me the buck rests in this case with as I followed into the case, I noticed one thing, that at the start of it, when Cohen came to Kenya and he was seeking the Kenyan citizenship, a lady down in the coast introduced her to introduced him to the wife, Wairimo, Sarah, and now they introduced them and told Cohen, you can get married to this lady so that you can acquire the Kenyan citizenship. And in my own judgment, you know, from the beginning, the thing went wrong. The marriage went wrong because it wasn't based on you know, on love and companionship, you know, without judging anybody. The case has taken really some crazy turns. We saw the former DPP, who's the lawyer of Sarah, saying that the DCI is fighting cases in the social media and in the press, and so he came forward also and presented his case to the media. Sarah is expected to take plea today, and we'll see what unfolds. But for me, I would really appeal to the DCI and to the government at large that let the same attention that was given to this case be given to also other cases cases where Kenyans have disappeared in foreign countries.
Wakili, there's a question that arises that Mr. Kinoti said that we found the body before, the body is of Cohen's before it was confirmed. The lawyer of Sarah said that. So it's a mixed up. Other people are saying maybe she might be innocent and just something's happening.
Introductory statement. What we're basically seeing right now is things that are happening in the media. We are yet to be able to go through the court process so that we can be able to establish the real position of what happened and what did not happen. By dint of the Constitution, we should remember that there is the presumption of innocence. We should not be quick to judge. We should not be quick to be able to interrogate and come to the conclusive solution in terms of what happened. We should give time for the prosecution to be able to adduce the evidence before court so that we can be able to get down to the real facts, what happened.
I think I'll ask questions to everyone. I'll start with Keegan. What's your favorite food? Non-traditional.
I can say, of course, chicken and some fries. Yeah.
Wakili.
I'll go with biryani.
Biryani. I think it's for all of us. Proposed fat tax to hit junk food lovers. This is in PD. We all eat junk at lunchtime since we're in CBD Nairobi. That's the easiest thing we can get. That's the cheapest food we can get. Us, even people who are in high school, universities, college. So the government is planning, under the Ministry of Health, is proposing to impose more taxes on junk foods. One, to raise money for universal health coverage agenda. Two, to curb Kenyans into eating unhealthy foods, which brings cancer, diabetes, and other diseases which are causing deaths in Kenya. Why are you laughing?
I think the government has observed that Kenyans are not keeping fit, and so the government is taking an initiative to, you know, to try and make its citizens healthy. But I think this is a case of, you know, maybe stealing from the rich and giving to the poor, because the government is taxing, you know, junk food, so to speak, and then taking the money to universal health care. You know, I don't know how people may interpret that, but for me, this issue is the government has realized that over the few years, the Kenyans have really embraced, you know, these fries and burgers and chicken,
Pizza,
you know,
soda.
this junk food. And even if you've observed in the city, in Tom Mboya and Moi Avenue, this chicken and chips outlets, you know, they're really becoming more and more popular amongst Kenyans, and so the government has realized this and wants to tax them. But then even if we are taxing them, at the end of the day, we must look at one thing. These kind of businesses, they are small scale businesses. At the end of the day, these are not, let alone the big franchise. You know, we have these small businesses that, you know, their space is not even 20 meters by 20 meters when you look at their premises. And these are people who are just starting out, and, you know, giving them, giving them huge taxes, you know, may take a toll on, you know, on their business activities, and it's something we must consider even if we are taxing this issue.
Yusuf, do you think the government is overtaxing Kenyans? Because mostly people who are being targeted here are middle class and students who don't earn much.
I believe they are. The move is welcome in terms of taxing, but I believe there are other avenues that the government can be able to take opportunity and be able to impose tax rather than foodstuff. But if at all the taxation is aimed at advancing the universal health care, then the move is welcome. But a balance has to be stricken in terms of taxing on one hand and health care on the other hand.
Before I continue with other stories, I wanted to go inside a story which I think affects everyone, including everyone, about divorce cases which are rising in Kenya. It says, Chief Kadhi says that infidelity, long-distance relationship is the main cause of marriages being broken and people divorcing. It says here that 2 years down the line, people divorce. As a lawyer, do you think what's the solution to divorce cases?
I agree with the Kadhi in terms of a shooting number of cases that arise in the Kadhi's court. I'm in active practice for the Kadhi's court, and that is the position. If you look at the statistics, from 2013 all the way, there's been an upward trend in terms of divorce cases being on the rise, and they're attributed to what has been named by the Kadhi. I believe the solution will be to educate the masses in terms of divorce cases. Divorce cases, and in the Islamic context, it's a bit different as compared to the normal setup. I can be able to attribute the fact that there have been an increase in terms of divorce cases in the Kadhi's court, because comparatively with the conventional process of divorce, for example, in the conventional context, for you to be able to institute a matrimonial or divorce proceedings, the marriage has to have been contracted within a span of 3 years. But in the Islamic context, you can marry today, you are not in agreement with how the marriage is going, and you can petition.
Well, to your perspective, what's the main reasons that causes divorce in our community?
I believe it goes to the moral fiber of the marriages that are being instituted these days. Most of these marriages that we are seeing these days are mostly actuated with the material possessions. You will find that a person will decide to contract a marriage because the other party is materially endowed. And then within a span of time, because there was no love, affection, this person will do exactly what was actuated by the marriage, and will go institute a divorce cause against the person. There are more like motivations that arise out of a divorce cause. For example, there's matter. Matter is basically compensation that you get out of a marriage. There is the agreed mahar. For example, most of the marriages, Islamic marriages, when they are contracted, you will get that the agreed mahar, you'll agree on the mahar, but you'll not pay the mahar. And comparatively to back to the days, as compared to now, the mahar that is being imposed is a bit high. So you see, these are the things. The monetary aspect of such is what is actuating these divorce cases to be able to be on the shoot. I'll also address the issue to do with the divorces. In the recent past, parties have now realized that they have recourses in terms of marriages. On the flip side, there are other dissolutions of marriage that are justifiable, in the sense that the marriage is unsalvageable. And people are slowly realizing that they can be able to opt out of the marriage. And that's the reason why they're resorting to divorces.
So mainly infidelity and long distance is the main cause so far?
Yes, but I'll also attribute the aspect of the material possession.
Material possession. Thank you. Kigen, 1 minute.
Allow me to play the devil's advocate.
Yes.
In this case. I think for me it's okay. It's okay. I prefer seeing the divorce cases being on the rise than seeing couples butchering themselves, in their home because they couldn't handle their marriage. I would prefer also seeing that the divorce cases are on the rise than seeing people and especially women deep down in the marriages, in keeping up with unhealthy marriages, depression, keeping up with abusive marriages. For me, it is better to see these cases on the rise. But again, it comes back to the thing of when are you getting married, why are you getting married, and people get married when they are not ready psychologically, because the thing is this, you find that when a man walks into a marriage, he has expectations of how the lady should be, and then the lady, it's the same on the other side. And people have to understand one thing, that humans are not perfect. Everybody comes with weaknesses and comes with strength. So when you as a man, you're expecting only strength from your woman, and same on the flip side, it's really unwarranted, and really unfortunate, because you have to understand that at some point your husband or your wife will do something that you are not fond of, and it's how you react to the issue and how you sit down and agree with each other.
So it is important for even youths before they get into marriage to at least being trained.
Absolutely.
And educated on what marriage is and the importance of this.
Yeah.
Allow me to Monica rejoinder.
Quickly before we take a break.
It is very important. There are very many institutions. I'll speak in terms of
quickly, we
Islamic
have 1
marriages
minute.
because that is what I engage in on a daily basis. There should be mechanisms. I agree with my colleague. There should be mechanisms in terms of prenuptial training before you engage in the marriages. There's also we're supposed to have institutions that try to mediate before we resort to divorce. You will understand in the Islamic context, divorce is one of the things that is really uncouth. You understand? If there are solutions that can be able to be addressed before we resort to divorce, then it is welcome.
Thank you so much. Naam, mtazamaji, mada ni moto. Uchambuzi wa magazeti utaendelea baada muda usiokuwa mrefu. Usiende mbali.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Chilea utapata mwana si wako. Kwa majina ni Muhammad Obura na hii ni Sabah Show.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation. On the next episode,
Imagine those people who don't know Arabic and then they meet Prophet Muhammad on the day of judgment. How will they say to him, "How are you?"
Repel the thought, for if you don't, it becomes an idea. So repel the idea, for if you don't, it will become a desire. So fight against that desire, for if you don't, it will become a determination and a passion. And if you don't repel that, it will become an action. And if you don't replace it with its opposite, it will become a constant habit. So at that point, it will be difficult for you to change it.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Chilea utapata mwana si wako. Kwa majina ni Muhammad Obura na hii ni Sabah Show.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Karibu katika metu ya pili ya uchambuzi wa magazeti. Tukiangalia ukurasa wa kwanza wa The Standard says here, Raila fury at ODM officials over Kibra nomination mess. It says here, Raila Odinga and the party secretariat, he's accusing the party secretariat for messing with and doctoring the register to lock out some voters during recent exercise to pick candidate in Kibra. During the day, we saw even people complaining, says they are not in the register yet, they are members, party members. So Raila is blaming the top officials of ODM party and says there that action will be taken in case it will be found that they doctored with the registered voters. As a Kenyan, as a voter, do you think, and as a Kenyan, we all watched how the nominations were. As a Kenyan, as a voter, Mr. Yusuf, do you think something happened? And we've seen even, not even in Kibra, we usually see it more often even in the national elections. People complain that their names are not there, maybe the ID is different, they are registered voters. We usually see that every day. What's the solution to that?
I think the first solution will have to do with the electoral process. There's really much to be done in terms of the electoral process. Much of the problems that we are seeing in the Kibera situation will be attributed to the fact that the registers there is the party register and there is the IEBC registers. By virtue of the electoral process not having incorporated a lot of ICT issues is why we are experiencing the same. To me, and personally, I can be able to say the process was generally free, fair, and due process was followed. But you will find a situation whereby the register that is being used is the register that was used during the general election. You will find that in the past 1 year or 2 years, there have been people who've come to age in terms of attaining majority age. And those people, they do not have a place in terms of the registrar. And that's the reason why I can be able to say one of the issues that need to be addressed in terms of the terrain of electoral process is being at par with ICT, so that technicalities in terms of law and due process should not be able to be used in the process of election.
Let me read a paragraph for you, Kigen. It says here, Raila is reported to have been alerted that there could have been a deliberate ploy to influence the outcome of the vote.
ODM is known for the men in black, and it's not a one-time occasion. It has happened severally in different places. And Raila, you know, as he's known as a champion of democracy, I think it is something that he should have fixed a long time ago, because, you know, is he, as a champion of democracy, as he is known, he was supposed to, you know, his party was supposed to be, you know, the epitome of democracy, so to speak. And I don't understand, on a political note, why Raila is saying this right now, you know, because this is showing us that maybe the process was not due, and the process not being due, then it questions the validity of Bernard Imran Okoth, who's the ODM candidate who's set to run, you know, with the other 22 aspirants, if I'm not wrong. And I don't think it was the right move for him right now to come out and say this thing, you know, because it being on a top page, it sets an agenda of, you know, questioning the validity of the candidature of Imran.
Okay, we look at Taifa Leo. Says here, DCI yachunguza Mariga. Sasa mbali na kuondolewa uchaguzini na IEBC, idara ya ujasusi inamulika uhalali wa stakabadhi zake. Imesema masaibu yanomkumba nyota wa soka Donald Mariga anaendelea kuongezeka baada ya uchunguzi wa stakabadhi zake muhimu. We've seen this in social media. People are comparing his ID number, the age, plus and how he was, plus photos. Wakili, you are laughing, you're smiling.
Yes, because I'm looking at the context of the situation, and a lot of things do not add up. I'll start with the age, for example. You indicate that, for example, you were born in 1987, if I'm not wrong. It means that you started school in class 3. That is not humanly possible. You look at the register. For example, this person, Mariga, initiated the process of voting or registering, sorry. There is the acknowledgement slip, but he did not sign. You start to ask yourself questions as to how procedures are followed. Yes.
Kigen, we've seen so many times that stars, like football stars, runners, doctoring their age to fit in a certain team, certain competition. Do you think it's one of the cases? There
is an interesting argument in terms of age and sports, because some people feel that, you know, there is their chronological age, and then there is their, you know, what is the word for it, the sort of fitness and healthy age, because you'll be told that Cristiano Ronaldo is, I think, 34 years old, but he has the fitness age of a 21-year-old. So maybe that can be an interesting, you know, turn of argument in such cases. But I think we might have a confusion, you know, with the DCI investigating and giving us some certain results, and also the IEBC is supposed, you know, to Mariga appealed, you know, after his nullification of his candidature by Beatrice Muli, and now the issue has been taken to the commissioners, who will rule out. But again, for me, it's like Mariga will be cleared, because the three commissioners, inclusive of the chairman Chebukati, they wrote to Beatrice Muli telling her, you know, to reinstate the candidature of Mariga, and now the case has been ascended to them. you know, it's clear what they will do, definitely. And I think with the DCI again giving another output on the other side, it might be confusing, but I think we really need answers, because this is somebody who's going out there to represent people and to lead people.
Okay. Business Daily says a Koinange family renews Kenya shilling 14 billion inheritance row. The court has been dragged for 3 decades. Maswala inheritance. We'll start with even you, Akili.
Yes.
We see in so many cases, not even here in Kenya, but all over the world, that inheritance cases usually take long and prolong. Why is that?
I
know in Islam we know the inheritance, it's clear.
Yes.
Yeah, it's clear.
What can I say? The reasons why inheritance proceedings usually take a long time is because of the acrimony that is usually happens between the family. In the Islamic context, it's very, very clear in terms of inheritance, mawarith. Inheritance has to be done expeditiously for heirs to be able to legitimately enjoy the benefits of the inheritance. But you will find in a situation whereby there is a procedure in terms of initiating inheritance proceedings. You have to prepare petition documents, or the beneficiaries, the heirs, have to be at par in terms of, for example, appointing an administrator or administratrix. Then you'll have to do with the issues of gazettement. The issue has to be gazetted. 30 days has to be given, so that if there's any objection from members of public who, for example, are not known as at now, but they have a hand in terms of the inheritance, that like they have a legitimate hand in terms of the inheritance, they're invited to be able to raise objections and be included in the inheritance proceedings. The process is usually very, very lengthy, and most of the times, and these inheritance proceedings, the ones that usually take long, the issue is most of the beneficiaries will make the matter proliferated on the basis that they're alluding to a particular. Some of the beneficiaries will say, for example, this person was not a son or a daughter to the deceased person, and there'll be, legal rows. The court will have to establish itself in terms of trying to authenticate whether this person is a legal heir or not. But in terms of the shares of the heirs, it is very, very, very comprehensive in terms of the Quran, Suratul Nisa.
Okay. Kigen, 1 month ago, we saw people being attacked in Mombasa. A month later, 5 injured as Mombasa gangs strike again in Kisauni downtrend. 5 people are injured, and they are still youth, young guys who are doing this. Do you think insecurity is rampant? And recently we've seen top officials of the government security department being in Mombasa warning people, say a lot will be done, but 1 month later, still the same thing, doing the same things to the same people. Do you think the security is not taken seriously?
First of all, I think the sort of crackdown we had, some weeks ago with the Interior CS Matiang'i down at the coast, for me now it's just proving that it was nothing short of a sideshow. There wasn't really much to be done, because if something was really done, seriously, we couldn't be having such kind of cases, because it is reported that there were a group of around more than 10 young men. I wouldn't call even them young men. I think they're just kids with machetes, and one of the people who's nursing injuries in the hospital was saying that the group of kids surrounded him, and they told him to sit down, and they had machetes, and he thought for a moment that, when I sit down, these people will just kill me. So he battled them, and kicked one of them, and one of them got a chance to slay his hand. And looking at this circumstance, first of all, as I had said some weeks ago, that for young kids, for such young kids, to take up machetes and be ready to chop off people, they can't be in their right state of mind. They must be under the influence of something. These kids are using drugs. And again, we had a drug cartel crackdown, so to speak, at the coast. And this it just shows us that nothing changed. These kids are just still using drugs, you know, and this is just another case of kids not going to school, you know, cases of unemployment. It also narrows down to parenting, and not just parenting, also relatives looking out for the kids. Where do you get the money that you spend, you know, where do you spend your time with who, you know? It's a whole Parondax box, so to speak. But again, the government has to deal with such cases relentlessly, because our safety cannot be compromised.
Yes, we usually blame the government and security officials, but have we taken a look at us, the community, as parents? We all know that so and so is a thug, so and so steals from people, but we never come out and mention them to the police and take them to the police. As a community, are we also to blame?
I agree. As a community, we are supposed to blame ourselves. Whatever is happening in the coast is a perfect example of the societal vices that are intruding our society. But to me, and personally, I'll be able to say that most of these issues, we need to look at the underlying problems. And the underlying problems here is the situation whereby that the youths do not have employment. The society is basically, most of the people are poor. If these things, the underlying problems, cannot be able to be addressed, then we cannot be able to achieve the security that we sought for. Community has a very important role in playing a hand in terms of security, and that is by community policing. I believe, and also in terms of morals, I believe all these, the society can be able to take a bigger portion of the blame as a result of the virtues, the vices that we're experiencing.
Okay, good.
And again, these kids, you look at them and they are just 11 years, 10 years, 12 years. These kids don't need jail. Let me be the advocate. They don't need jail. These are just kids who are disturbed, you know, because of maybe family fragmentations and things like those. These kids, at the end of the day, they need to be talked to. They need to be, you know, their mind needs to be sort of rehabilitated, you know. They have to be shown the other side of life, because these are just disturbed kids, you know, who are just depressed and who have just given up in life. They don't need jail.
Okay. Na mtazamaji, unajua kwamba maziwa unayokunywa inaweza kuwa iko contaminated. Haya tutaweza kuangazia zaidi katika awamu yetu ya 3 ya uchambuzi wa magazeti. Usiende mbali.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Chilea utapata mwana si wako. Kwa majina ni Muhammad Obura na hii ni Sabah Show.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
The Messenger of Allah said, whoever says when the morning comes, رضيت بالله ربا وبالإسلام دينا وبمحمد نبيا, meaning, I am pleased with Allah as the Lord and with Islam as a religion, and with Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam as a prophet. Then I am the guarantor that I will take him by his hand until I put him into Jannah.
Wake up to exciting mornings every day. Active Jumatatu with Muhammad Obura. Tech Tuesday with Yusuf Farah. Wednesday, the special edition Business Chat with Ibtisam Jamal. All about your health on Healthy Thursdays with Mariam Mwacharo. Aisha Khan with thorny pertinent issues every Friday on The Round Table. Fresh discussions, direct probe in Sabah Show, only on Horizon TV.
On the next episode,
Imagine those people who don't know Arabic and then they meet Prophet Muhammad on the day of judgment. How will they say to him, how are you?
Repel the thought, for if you don't, it becomes an idea. So repel the idea, for if you don't, it will become a desire. So fight against that desire, for if you don't, it will become a determination and a passion. And if you don't repel that, it will become an action. And if you don't replace it with its opposite, it will become a constant habit. So at that point, it will be difficult for you to change it.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Chilea utapata mwana si wako. Kwa majina ni Muhammad Obura na hii ni Sabah Show.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Mtazamaji, karibu katika awamu yetu ya tatu na ya mwisho uchambuzi wa magazeti. Tuko na mgeni Edwin Airo ambao ni mchanganuzi wa masuala ya kisiasa na taarifa za leo ziko nyingi za kisiasa. Edwin, karibu. Are you ready?
Always.
Okay, before we dig into politics, it says here, the milk we drink might be contaminated. Not might, is contaminated. They took milk samples from Nairobi CBD, Kangemi, Rongai, Buruburu, from ATMs and packaged, which are being sold in the supermarkets. And then they were taken for lab results, which were received after 5 working days, showed that the milk is unsatisfactory for human consumption as it contains high levels of coliforms. Coliform refers to a variety of bacteria found in water, soil, vegetation, and on human body skin. The ATM milk machines show that the coliforms was more than 2,400. We started with the water we are drinking, the food we are eating, the vegetables we are eating are not healthy. Now milk. Edwin, you drink milk?
Yes, I take tea. And by the fact that I'm a lawyer, tea is very essential.
So no way will you have black tea, even if the milk is contaminated?
But but again, I cannot risk just for the sake of taking tea. My health comes first. But again, this is a multi-ministerial issue that really we can't get to the bottom of these food products that we are taking that are contaminated. If sugar is milk, now is meat.
Our vegetables.
Yes. But again, we must get serious as a country, and surely somebody must take responsibility for this. What is the Cabinet Secretary for Health doing? What is the Cabinet Secretary for Interior doing? The CS for Interior should be conducting crackdown so that they get these unscrupulous traders who are risking the health of Kenyans.
Now let me read a paragraph. It says here, finger is being pointed at farmers during the milking processes. And some of the contamination could have happened if farmers used cow dung while milking instead of the recommended milking jelly.
But again, when they sell the milk to these cooperative societies, so that the milk is processed and everything, it is the responsibility of these societies to make sure that this milk is pasteurized and made fit for human consumption. The water we drink, some of it is recycled. It's dirty water, but it goes through a process where it is made fit again for human consumption. Farmers do not play a role in the processing of milk. They play a role in selling the milk to these cooperative societies. But again, milk is something that is handled with a lot of hygiene. And my advice to farmers is they should maintain the high standards of hygiene so that, again, they are giving out good milk. But the responsibility is for the people who process this milk to make it pasteurized. They have to make sure that the equipment they are using, the machineries to process this milk, are just beyond reproach, and we just get the best milk possible.
Yusuf, COFEC has come out and says there is importance of safeguarding food quality and hygiene in Kenya because we are risking health of Kenyans. You might be eating healthy, you're thinking you're eating healthy, but by the end of the day, everything you're eating is contaminated. What's the way forward? Unfortunately,
I think the issue at hand speaks volumes about the regulatory bodies that are mandated to be able to ensure the standards, the right standards are put at par. Much will be done in terms of policy guidelines and directions, in terms of coming up with legislative mechanisms to be able to cushion us from being endangered in terms of the kind of nutrients that we take up in our bodies. I believe the government, through the Ministry of Health and through these regulatory mechanisms, should act in terms of coming up with regulations that can be able to secure us. So the buck stops with them.
Okay. Daily Nation page 10 says here, after 6 years, counties have learned little about using finances properly. Auditor consistently calls out assemblies for extravagance without any evidence. We've seen other counties using less money, other counties overspending with doing nothing other than going in foreign trips and less development in so many counties. Here we go again, that counties want more money, but by the end of the day, they're misusing the money. Do you think it's 6 years down the line and they've not learned anything about managing funds, but they are good in mismanaging funds?
It's not even about learning. It's about living up to the public mandate. When we put you in that office, we expect you to perform. We are not putting you there to go and learn. We are putting you there to go and implement policies and initiate programs and projects that are going to, jumpstart the lives of our young people and make sure that the economy is moving and make sure that, really the standards of living are improving. But look at our counties. We've just come from as a nearly shutdown of our counties because they want 335 billion, but the National Assembly says, hey, we have 316 billion. Look, what plan do they have with these 335 billion? You'll find no plan. All right? They want more, but they can't account for the little they have. And these counties, we've seen from audit reporting that some of them allocate zero for development. So what are you using that money for? They pay hefty allowances and salaries, and then sideline development projects. And then they go with supplementary budgets, not even to fund development projects, but to fund this recurrent expenditure. And we ask ourselves this question. We brought devolution to make the living standards of people better, to make service delivery efficient and closer to Mwananchi. But what is happening right now? Some of these county governments are very close, but too far from the common Mwananchi. You go there and you're told, go to this office, go to the other one, and at the end of the day, you end up not getting the service that you went to seek for. But again, we've seen a number of governors being taken to court because of mismanagement of resources. That is not enough. I have always said, and I'll keep saying, until we have a clause that provides for the timelines within which economic crimes cases are prosecuted, this war on corruption will never be realized easily. Because look, is there any landmark ruling, Wakili can guide us, that any senior politician or government official sitting has been taken to court and charged, convicted, and sentenced? You understand? From my perspective, I'm not aware. Wakili can guide us.
Yeah, let him take over.
But again, we must get serious with the management of resources we have. You know, in this country, we have enough resources to fund our budget. But look, when we get into the fiscal, you go through the fiscal policy, you know, and you find that we have a budgetary deficit of about 600 billion plus. Where is that money going to come from? The money is going to come from borrowing. What does borrowing mean? That means we are going to get this country into more debt. Right now we are, through National Treasury, they say we are about 5 trillion, 5 point something trillion in terms of debt. So when we keep borrowing, we are not reducing. We are actually digging a hole to fill another, which still exposes the lapses. So we need to do something as a country.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Do you think the case is taking long, corruption cases taking long, is making people or is making corruption more rampant in Kenya?
I believe so. There is a backlog of cases. There are lots of prosecutions in terms of these corruption cases, but we are yet to be able to establish a particular case whereby a public officer has been charged or has been found guilty in terms of these corruption cases. But I believe going forward, in the fullness of time, the judiciary has tried to be able to make more like transformations in terms of, for example, coming up with a division in the court which probably handles the issues to do with corruption. They've also, sometimes this year, the Chief Justice, Maraga, initiated the process of appointment of more magistrates who will be able to specially handle the issues to do with corruption. But I believe much is to be done. Corruption is one of those crimes that really stifles our society, and much is needed to be done. Yes.
You talked about a backlog of cases.
Yes.
There's a story on the Standard page 11 says here backlog of cases increases as Uhuru delays in naming judges. It says here President Uhuru Kenyatta's silence of appointment of new Court of Appeal judges named in July is causing anxiety in the judiciary. Is it causing anxiety?
It is causing anxiety. You will find out that you institute a matter now, and those matters that are now certified, ready to be heard, will take about 5 years for them to be heard, not to be determined, to be heard. So I believe the same is more like, so it's basically slowing down the process of listening to matters and making a determination to the same.
Okay. People's Daily, page 4, says here, Jubilee factions turn central into battlefield, even literally. It says here, Edwin, political intolerance is finding home in President Kenyatta's central region home. It says a week after confrontation between Kiharu MP Ndindi Nyoro and nominated minor commander, it causes a row. We all know that Central Province is always the calm region, never divided, but right now we've seen being divided, and it causes tension in the area politically.
Yeah, you see, there is Tanga, there is Kieleweke, then there is Team Wanjiku. Again, Central Kenya, nobody can question its decisions. Look at a time when President Kenyatta was running against President Kibaki in Central Kenya. Either way, the seat was going in Central Kenya. But what did the people of Central Kenya say? It is Kibaki, and that's the way we are going. All right? And that's how President Kenyatta lost. You understand? So these are people, when they say this is the way, they will always follow that way. So I do not believe there is any division in Central Kenya. In fact, history will tell you, many of MPs who are elected are never re-elected. Call an election today and see how many will survive the wave. Those people are no joke. Those people know what they want. And when you perform and become a noisemaker, they'll send you home. So Central Kenya is still firmly under the grasp of the president. I am not convinced otherwise, because president is currently the head of Central Kenya. We've not seen a clear leader who will succeed President Kenyatta. And President Kenyatta, arguably, is still much younger. And, you know, he still feels like he can keep on leading. But again, he has to pass on the baton to give room for others to lead. But these people making noise, Tanga, Kieleweke, whatever, those things, those things will just fade with time. The people, when political bells start to ring in this country, people realign quickly. They see the wave sweeping them, and they'll jump ship. You know, politicians are very crafty people, very, very crafty. They see ahead. So when they realize this wave of this faction is not going to sustain, then they will jump ship. This person will sell something to you today, and tomorrow is saying something different, just to survive politically. So don't worry about the division, whatever. There is no division. There is no division.
Yusuf, you're smiling as if you're not agreeing.
I'm partly agreeing. I'm partly agreeing because, like he said, like he pointed out, the people of Central Kenya, they usually vote as a bloc. And I believe come 22, they'll do the same. What we're experiencing now is those particular leaders. There is a vacuum that has been created by virtue of the president now being on the process of going. There is no particular leader from that front. And what we are seeing is basically a battle between those people to be able to establish who has a say, who's the kingpin in that particular area. But as a matter of fact, I agree with him in terms of the particular community being very, very, very steadfast in terms of aligning to a particular political inclination.
Thank you so much. Time is up.
Time
is up. Less than a minute.
Okay, good. Raila Odinga supported Kibaki to the core. His Excellency Deputy President has supported the President to the core. During Raila's time, when he was running, they did not reciprocate. So we are waiting to see if they'll reciprocate for William Ruto. But again, it comes down to what is in it for Central Kenya. Do they prefer William Ruto or they prefer a different candidate because of the handshake? You know, this handshake is confusing very many people. And we even don't know what goods are in that bag. The president could still be there and Raila Odinga, you know, that arrangement. It is possible. But again, let us wait and see.
Let's wait and see.
Yeah.
Let's wait and see. Na mtazamaji, tumefika tamati ya awamu yetu ya kwanza ya uchambuzi wa magazeti. Usiende mbali, tutarejea na Active Jumatatu. Mada yetu ya leo ni Youth Making a Difference. Nitakuwa kwa niaba ya Muhammad Obura. Usiende mbali.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Chilea utapata mwana si wako. Kwa majina ni Muhammad Obura na hii ni Sabah Show.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
The Messenger of Allah said, whoever says when the morning comes, رضيت بالله ربا وبالإسلام دينا وبمحمد نبيا, meaning I am pleased with Allah as the Lord and with Islam as a religion and with Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam as a prophet, then I am the guarantor that I will take him by his hand until I put him into Jannah.
Wake up to exciting mornings every day. Active Jumatatu with Muhammad Obura. Tech Tuesday with Yusuf Farah. Wednesday, the special edition Business Chat with Ibtisam Jamal. All about your health on Healthy Thursdays with Mariam Wacharo. Aisha Khan with thorny pertinent issues every Friday on the Round Table. Fresh discussions, direct probe in Sabah Show, only on Horizon TV.
On the next episode,
Imagine those people who don't know Arabic and then they meet Prophet Muhammad on the day of judgment. How will they say to him, how are you?
Walk with us as we tell you the stories of our society.
Wengine atavaa mtandio kichwani, utafikiri ni kijihandkerchief.
Enzi za wakati wa kusema ati alisema, akasisitiza, akihutubia wanahabari, enzi hizo hazipo tena.
Kwa kuchimbua na kunakili matukio kwa undani.
We want to create current awareness,
ranging from adventure, human interest and inspirational stories,
ili kuweza kukuelimisha, kukuburudisha na kukubumbuisha.
Words have been said, but now it is time to lay the foundation that will impact the world.
Terrorism is terrorism, no matter who is behind the trigger.
Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah said the believers encourage people to reconcile relations with those who have cut them off. Give charity to those who have deprived them. Forgive those who have oppressed them. Be kind with parents. Uphold family ties. Be kind with neighbors. Be kind with orphans, travelers, and the poor, and to be gentle with servants. They forbid bragging, arrogance, and transgression. They discourage people from feeling superior over others, rightly or wrongly. They enjoin people to use lofty manners and prohibit them from pursuing trifles. All that they say or do from these values and other teachings, in all of it they follow the Quran and the Sunnah. Their path is the religion of Islam with which Allah has sent Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Repel the thought, for if you don't, it becomes an idea. So repel the idea, for if you don't, it will become a desire. So fight against that desire, for if you don't, it will become a determination and a passion. And if you don't repel that, it will become an action. And if you don't replace it with its opposite, it will become a constant habit. So at that point, it will be difficult for you to change it.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
Mhasibu Housing Company is here to make your dream come true. And now, invest in our strategically located lands along Ruiru Committee Road at 3.9 million, Nyeri near Mount Kenya Academy at 2.5 million, Nanyuki near Mayan Resort at 595,000, Kitengela near KAG University at 925,000, Nakuru near Egerton University at 420,000,